Hello, welcome back everyone again. Uh, Today we will today's our agenda is to create a simple project. Okay, and we will try to create one simple project. Try to understand how we are going to do the global configurations of usage. How will add the loggers. What can we see in the console, and how our response message and response to whatever we discussed in the last session. So that how can we see it actually in the live. Okay, and how can we use a configuration? It's a global configuration into multiple files also, our configuration XML files. So we'll see all that. Okay, so hope you have started the studio, open the studio, and parallelly we will start doing it. So create a new project. Okay, so let me give a project name as, I'll give it as a student database DB API. Okay, so right now I will select the Mule server 4.4 and I will click on finish. Okay, are you able to create this project, Rakesh?
1 second.
Yeah.
What did you do? Can you please come again? Sorry.
Yeah, we created a project student DB API. We're going to file new project.
Okay.
So please do it
Let
same,
me also
and I
do
will
the same
give a
thing.
name something
Fine.
like student DB API.
File new project.
New
Student
project.
DB API, is it?
Yeah, I gave a name as student DB API.
Finish, is it?
Okay. Okay. So we'll discuss what we are going to develop. Okay. So first thing, as I told, how our URL will be. Our URL will be, if we just look at here, it will have a protocol, IP, port, basic path, and subpath. Okay. I just want to use the same example what we used earlier. I will copy and paste these things. Okay. So here we will try to this will be get or post. If we get, we'll try to post it. Okay. Post, and we will say this as update. We'll try doing post. Okay, so these are the two APIs that we are going to develop today. Okay, so we are now, because as we have gone through the previous sessions, we know this is the protocol, this is the IP, this is the port, this is our basic path, and this is our subpath. So if we see what we have common over here is our IP, port, and basic path is common in the both of them. So let's try to create it in common and try to use it in the two different endpoints. Okay. So first thing what I would like to create is to create this common configuration. So this is the HTTP. Definitely, if I create a flow here, I will add a listener. Okay. So when I add a listener, this listener needs this connector configuration. Okay, but I want to keep it very common so that tomorrow someone else using in somewhere in some other files over here, he should be able to use the same configuration. So what I would do, I will create a new configuration file here. Okay, and I will give this as a global config.xml. I hope you are doing parallel.
I am not able to do things parallelly. Okay, first I get the listener.
Oh, okay, no problem. We will wait then. We'll wait. I want you to do it parallelly so that
Okay. Do I need to share my screen?
yeah. Wait a second. Just a second. I'm seeing here where I can pause the recording. Okay. Okay. So now we created this global configuration, this config file where we are expecting to create a configurations that will be used across by different files within the project. Okay. So here we see the listener is waiting for connector configurations. Okay. So we will
Correct.
create a connector configurations here. As I mentioned in the previous sessions, all our configurations, they go and reside under global elements. Okay. So let's come to global elements. Let's create HTTP listener config. Okay. And by default, we are going to use, what is our port? Our port is for 0.0.0, that is nothing but localhost. Yes. Our protocol is HTTP. Yes. And our port is 8081. Our port is 8081. Yes. And then what is our base path? Our base path is student here. Okay. Are you able to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can proceed. Yes. Okay. So I clicked this on. Okay. So now you can see that this global configuration has been created. Okay. Let me show you this. But you
Have you started the recording?
Sorry. Yeah, I have started recording. Yes. Okay. So here you can see the configurations that is created. It doesn't have any message flow. It has only configuration. Okay, so this is how actually a common configurations are created. And now what I will do, I will use this configuration to create my first endpoint. Okay, see, it automatically selected also. It automatically selected the available configuration. Okay, HTTP listener, which I created here. Okay, if I look at here, it says student/update. Still base path, I have it in the connector configuration. So I will use this as /update.
Which one?
Here, if you see here, okay, our protocol, IP, port, and basic path. These things I covered in my connector configuration, correct? Yeah, which is common. So till student it is common, and I created it in the global config. Now what I am going to do is I have to develop two endpoints here. One is with update and one is with delete. So this is the resource type which I am going to consider. Okay. So sorry. I think only my this screen is shared. Okay. Any points today is shared, so you are not able to see when I.
Correct. You can share the desktop.
Okay. Now you can see, I believe.
Yes.
So here you can see that we already configured the till here, HTTP IP port and basic part till student. So the changes that I have here is only the update and delete. Okay. So these are the two endpoints that I'm going to use. So let me use the first endpoint. Let me create this post student update. Okay. So here, if I have to use the first one, I will give the sub path as update. Okay. So you might have observed, I will show again. It was having a red mark here telling attribute path is required. So there is some mandatory field which we have not given. As soon as we gave this, you can see that it says there are no errors, and even this will go when we save it. See, it will go. Okay. Now we will just we have now created this endpoint. Okay. So this listener, if we send a request to this listener, it will come. But we also need to a confirmation that it has come. No? So what we will do, we will just try to put a logger here. Just try to add a logger. I'll just name it as an update logger. I will give a message, student update, student details, update, request received.
Logger, have you dragged it or how it is?
Logger from here, you just type as a logger, or if it is already available here, that's fine. From here, drag it and leave it here.
Okay.
And what
Inside
yes, just inside this part.
inside that logger.
This is
To display
student
name as
DB API flow. No? I want to make it a student DB API update flow. I will rename the flow name.
Oh, I'm not getting any option to rename.
Now you click on this. You click on this, you can see that this is getting selected. Then you will see it here. If you select this, sorry. If you select this, it will select here. It will select this will select here. You completely select the flow. Okay, once you select the flow, this will get listed below. Here you can update student DB API update flow. Yeah, is it done?
1 second.
Do it.
Okay. That's all.
Done, eh? Yeah.
Save.
Okay, yeah, save it. So you can see that there are no errors, nothing. Everything is green. You can't see any red mark. So this is our first API that we created. Okay, so what is the expectation from this API is, once you send the request will come here as this listening and it will update a log. What you should expect in the log is, it will say student details update request received. Okay. So now what we will do, we will run this config. Go to run, okay, and run configuration. No, okay, we don't have any configurations here. You can just say run and run here. The mule application. Okay. Yeah, so we can see that the project got deployed now. Okay, so we can see the project name, the application name, student DB API, and this is the OS.
Share your screen.
Sorry?
No, it's okay.
Okay. And we can see that project got deployed here. Okay, application got deployed. So now we will try to test what we have developed. Okay, we will open this Postman. We'll open the Postman. Okay, and here, oh sorry, I forgot one thing. This was a update flow, no? Okay, yeah, it's good that I forgot. We will see one thing. See here. Here, inside the project, if you can see, there is something called build automatically. So when you do any changes, no, that changes is actually managed by the studio itself, and it will be automatically deployed. For example, I will show you now. If you can see, while we were discussing, this was a post request, correct? So in the post request, we created this update endpoint, but we have forgot to mention that this making this request as post. So if I click on a listener, if I come to advanced, okay, so here allowed methods are get and post. I will make it as post. Okay, once I make it as post, I save this, and I will see console, that console whether it will see it got redeployed. You can see this now, or no, just now there after
I
the
clicked on listener. After that, where I need to go?
you clicked on this listener. You click on listener. Once you click on listener, click on advanced. Here advanced, and here you can click on allowed methods.
It's telling get and post, get to comma post.
Post, yeah, that is my method, the method which I am using. Once I did
I'm
this,
not able to
sorry,
edit that. I'm not able to edit.
you are not able to edit.
Hmm.
How come? Can you share your screen? I'll pause the recording. Resume recording. Okay. So what we saw here is now, right now, once we did the changes, no, sorry, once we did the small changes, it actually in the console, it got auto deployed. Okay. So now we will
Hmm.
try to send a request to this and see what is happening. Before that, what I would request is this come to console. In this console, do a right click and clear so that any logs that it writes, we will be able to read it. Okay.
Okay.
Console,
Hmm.
right click and clear.
Done.
Okay. Now open Postman. In the Postman, what is our request? We actually discussed it here. It is a post method. Okay. So we will select post. And what is our URL? Our endpoint is http localhost 8081 student update. We'll send this as a update. Were you able to give these two things? Did you select the method and URL?
HTTP localhost 8080 update.
Student and update.
I am getting localhost. Shall I type 0.0.0.0.0?
Yeah, both should be both are same only. Anything should be fine.
800 student dot update.
Okay, so if you are done this right now, we'll click on send button. And now when we come to console, we can see that there is an info has been printed. Can you also see?
1 second.
Okay, there are a few important things I have to
Yeah.
update within the assembly.
Info. I can see 2 lines of info.
Okay, you can see, right? So this info log, if
Hmm.
you pull it to the extreme, you can see it has printed the message which we write there. Student details update request received. Okay. So this is the same message that we gave it in the logger. Student details update request received. Okay. So it has received, it is saying it has received the message.
I'm getting no listener found for the request.
Okay,
Get.
then that means there is some problem with the endpoint. Maybe I will explain this and I can see that again. Okay.
No problem. Thank
So,
you.
and as I was telling about the response header and response message, okay, in the response header, we will have response status and message. No? So here, as this is successful, you are seeing it as a 200 OK. Okay. So 200 OK means 200 is OK as we were telling the successful and the message says OK. So we sent a request to this endpoint, and once we sent it, it gave us a response. As there is nothing response because we haven't configured any response yet, but we configured a logger here. So this logger, whatever we configured it, has printed the message which we said. Okay. So now what we will do, we'll try to add a response message. Okay, I will say this is going to be my response payload. It will take some time. Okay. So this is going to be my renaming it for understanding response payload. Okay. So this is my payload. This is my JSON, and I will say my message. I'm adding a format. We will understand this JSON and all those things in the future. Just for current to show that how we can define our responses. So my response is message update for the student database is uh, sorry, we can say student database update request is completed. That means the database it has updated the request. We are just adding the message now. It is not doing the actual job of updating a database. It's just saying student DB update request is completed. Okay, so this is the transfer message which I again. So as I expected, this should again what it should do, it should redeploy. Let's see whether it got redeployed. Yes, it has redeployed. Okay, so now what I will do, I will send the request again. So once I send the request again, you can see the difference now. So here, this is my request. Okay, if I had, these are the headers default, there are some default headers that go. If I had any additional headers that I could have added here, okay. For this endpoint, we haven't added, and I haven't sent any body or request also. But in the response, I have got a status message, status code, and response message also, response body, basically. So this I defined it and I have got it over here. Okay. So just to brief what we have done today, we added a listener. Okay. So this listener is using a configuration, listener configuration. So this configuration, I added it in a common global config file, so that in the next session, I will create one more. This is an update flow, right? We will create a delete flow. So delete flow should also use the same configuration. That's why we have created it in common. Sorry. So once this configuration is created, we added a logger. The logger says, as soon as the request comes, it says student details update request received. Okay. And we will assume that there is some action happening in between this. Right now, there is nothing happening. We are just printing a message or sending a response saying student DB update request is completed. So the request what user was sending to update, so that request is completed. And once we come back, we see in the response, this is the status message, this is the status code, and this is the response body. Okay, clear till here? Yeah. Now, what I assume is the IPR port that you have given is actually wrong. Can you share your screen? Let me see that. I'll stop sharing. Please share your screen. It is saying listener not found means the request where you are sending, go to your postman. http:/student update. Okay. It says method not allowed. It is not saying request. See, this is 405 method not allowed. Okay. Now we should understand what is the method that we gave. We gave method as post, but you are hitting get. Correct, right? Just change that get to post and try to hit once again. Oh, perfect, Rakesh. Your response is nice. Okay. And one important thing is just have a look on the console also. Oh, why this response didn't come? This is the response that you updated it right now, is it?
Which one? This one. I was doing it simultaneously when you were doing.
Okay. Now click on console. Console. Yeah. Okay. So I think go to the left, extreme left. I think it would have been really deployed. Left. Okay. Clear the logs. Right click. Clear. Go back and hit the request again. Oh, 1 second. You haven't saved. Minimize this postman. See student, still you can see a star. Now you can see that console should get update. Go to console now. After saving, you should see that it is getting rebuilt. Only once it rebuilds, then only you will get the response update. Okay. See, now it is rebuilding. Okay. Now go back to postman. Hit the request now. It is still building. Click once again. You have kept the Java as the output. Go back to your request. Studio. Open the response payload.